All right, back on ABC24 this week with my guests Otis Sanford, Sam Hardiman, and Deidre Malone to talk about the supercomputer that training has already started, if we're to believe what's been reported so far, out at the big campus at Southwest Memphis. Elon Musk is the money man behind it, obviously. He has bought tens of thousands of these chips, special chips that are used for AI, to get this supercomputer online as quickly as possible. We're hearing that the conversation on this coming to Memphis started back in March, and it's moved very, very quickly. Sam Hardiman has been reporting on this pretty much from the beginning, and nothing really seems to ever move this fast. But this has it has moved quickly. Yeah. And some of it's to his credit. I mean, he said he doesn't want any tax incentives, no pilots. He says he's going to take care of the concerns about water from the aquifer by using wastewater instead. What's that called? A gray water?
Gray water plant. And to be clear, a person close to the company has said. Elon Musk hasn't said anything. Mm-hmm. Just to be clear about that. Okay. You know, Elon Musk has acknowledged Memphis slightly. In a tweet here and there. A couple of tweets. Yes. To be clear.
But how do you read just how fast it seems to be moving along? There seems to be a lot of criticism heaped at Doug McGowan, the CEO of MLGW, for almost becoming a spokesman for this whole project when he really should be working for the taxpayers.
Yeah, let me take the first question first in terms of the speed, right? If you've read anything about an Elon Musk company, people work incredibly hard or they don't stay very long, right? Like, it's been well documented that these are companies where speed is of the essence, right? And I think that from my reporting seems to be the case at xAI too, that just is built for speed. We do things fast. Time is money. That is our edge, right? Like, that is what they're seeking. And that's a private company, right? People are signing up, people that go work there, they're signing up for that, for what appears to be a six-figure salary from the job postings online, right? Like, and from my reporting, that's six-figure salaries. That's what they're signing up for. In terms of the second question about, I think LGW has just been a conduit of information because, as we'll probably get to in a few minutes, like, beyond our reporting at the Daily Memphian, which cites people familiar with the matter who aren't authorized to speak publicly, Memphis Lake Gas and Water has been the only source of information on this project. All right, and that's what's given everybody the willies. But at the same time, this is a private company proceeding with their operations.
But a lot of private companies that want to do business here. Representative Justin Pearson was quoted as saying MLGW's CEO is not elected, and neither is anybody in the Chamber of Commerce last time I checked. It'd be really wonderful if people who are unelected did start to talk about people who are elected to represent the communities they're seeking to do business in. And they cite the fact there have not been a single town hall meeting. Reporters are told they can post their questions on X if they have them, unless you have a well-placed source, like the Daily Memphian has. And your publication was put to task on that as well by the Center for Independent Reporting, I believe. I mean, I had that completely right, but it's run through the U of M. And the comment was made, the lack of direct access means Memphians must learn about xAI through MLGW updates or an anonymous source that works exclusively with the Daily Memphian, which posts many of their xAI updates behind a paywall. Exclusive sources in journalism is nothing new, I have to say, in the Memphian's defense here.
And also, like, who knows that it's exclusive, okay? Like, and respectfully to the Institute, they have no idea who it is, right? If they can go figure it out, go figure it out. But, like, at the same time, we don't need to be really defending my sourcing here. This is common practice at business publications like the Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg across the country all the time. And so beyond that, in terms of what do public officials have to do here, there are no tax incentives, right? There is nothing to vote on. And so that is the real question. There's a lot of discussion because it's a very notable man, building a very, very valuable thing here at a rapid pace, and it highlights environmental concerns that exist and are very legitimate in Southwest Memphis, right? We have the Tennessee Valley Authority pumping 3 million gallons a day, roughly, out of the Memphis Sand Aquifer to cool its Allen Combined Cycle Plant. Valero is pumping about 1 million gallons a day out of the Memphis Sand Aquifer to cool its refinery down there. Okay, this would add close to maybe 1 million gallons a day at its peak, right? From my reporting, like, these are the real concerns down there. Yeah. This is just one company. There isn't the scrutiny of Valero or TVA. And it has a lot to do, I think, with the person who owns the company or is funding the company, and that's the billionaire Elon Musk.
I do think that has a lot to do with it. He's very controversial.
Very.
Deidre, what are your thoughts about that? I read the comments from Representative Justin Pearson, and there are other groups too, the Southern Environmental Law Center, the Protect Our Aquifer group, who feel there is a reason for elected officials to care because they're talking about electricity enough electricity to power 100,000 homes in order to power the supercomputer, the 1.5 million gallons of water a day.
It's not 1.5. It's 1.1 to 1.3 maybe.
Okay, 1.5 is what's being reported, but I just don't. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that we should be concerned because this is our water and we all need it. And but I also, Justin said something that Doug was appointed by an elected official, and he reports to a board, right? And he still has to come before the city council. So there's some accountability there. He can't just do what he wants to do. Mm-hmm. There's some level of accountability because he does report to a board that is appointed by an elected body. And so I guess my point I'm trying to make is there should be some oversight, and hopefully they're asking those tough questions. I know everything has moved pretty fast, but I guess my concern is how is that going to affect our water? Yeah. That's the bottom line. How is that going to affect our water supply? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, the conversation is about the water supply, but this is adding 1 million gallons to 150 million gallons that is pumped every day. Okay, so like this discussion about the water supply, like I said a minute ago, there are giant water users in this community already. Okay, and like there isn't that conversation, and like that's the context that I think is missing to this conversation. Absolutely be concerned about 1 million gallons coming from xAI supercomputer. Right. At the same time, you have other giant users that exist in that same well field, and part of the reason people are concerned is because if you have all this pressure in one well field, it can pull contaminants nearby to the drinking water supply. That's the concern. That is the real concern here. And so like, it's sort of getting boiled up to like, oh, this one company is going to ruin the water supply. And it's like, no, it's because all the heavy industry that already exists there that is going to be, xAI is going to be right nearby. That's another 1 million gallons.
But Sam, to your point, it is a new company that's entering the market. And so, we already had these companies that are here, but this is new, so it's an added pressure, I guess, to our system.
And some are saying Memphis just can't enjoy a good thing. We've got Elon Musk who's willing to come here, put us on the map with the world's largest supercomputer. It's going to be okay.
That's a great way to put it. I do think a lot of it has to do with Elon Musk, the person. He is very political, and he's political in a lot of negative ways regarding some people in the community. I'm going to look at this from like a 10,000-foot position when you talk about the issues between Sam's reporting and what the Institute said. Full disclosure, I'm chairman of the advisory board for the Institute. I think that kind of back and forth is fairly healthy because it's journalism, and that's
supposed to be competitive.
It's supposed to be competitive. Yeah. It's supposed to be sniping. I'm fine with that. I do think that since this is a private company, Sam's got a great point here. Let's see what's happening here. I mean, we're not taking away, the only thing we're taking away is the water, and it's minuscule compared to everybody else who's taking away the water. Okay. So, when you get past Elon Musk's political views, let's see if this is a good thing or not a good thing and enjoy what we might have. If we have six-figure salaries in this community, spending money in this community, that's a good thing.
The more the better, right?
That's important.
Let me ask you quickly, though, Sam, since you're so closely tied to this story, I am confused about the reporting that there's going to be a substation built to handle electrical demand, especially during peak times when there might be a drain on being able to
it's being built to help just the demand in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then these mega battery packs that they want to buy from an Elon Musk company that will help during those times as well. So which is it?
No, so what I think helps explain to people, that's the good question. That's the right question, Richard. What is happening here is right now, largely, according to our reporting, according to a person familiar with the matter, xAI is being powered by gas turbines that they have at the facility. They're not fully on the grid. They are drawing some power, but it's not fully on the grid. It is gas turbines they rented and have brought here and are pumping gas through a meter, an MOG&W gas meter, essentially, that is purchased separately.
Okay.
Okay. And that is how they're being powered right now. In order to accommodate them, there needs to be expanding essentially a substation that exists down there, okay, down at Pigeon Industrial Park to accommodate them. When people are talking about constraints on the grid, we're part of a giant TVA system, as you know, Richard. right? During a regular day, the 150 megawatt load that they could be running down there is not going to be ponderous to the grid. But during a really hot day, all heavy industry, and this may be the largest single electricity user, but there are other giant users as well, are very ponderous to the grid. And that's why you may have to agree with the Tennessee Valley Authority to what is called demand response, which is when it gets really hot, you have to agree to cut your load. That's what first happened before the blackouts in December of 22, is they were going to heavy industry and saying, it's time to cut your load. Because that's what happens first before we get to rolling blackouts. So that's what they still have to agree to with TVA, and those discussions are ongoing. Second, in terms of what Memphis Light Gas and Water would just like to do, is buy megapacks from Tesla. xAI obviously knows a guy, Elon Musk, they can help him sell them, right? And so what that is you just charge those up, and when there is heavy demand, like when we have a 98-degree day, and there's 98 degrees across the entire Tennessee Valley, so everyone's pumping that AC, not just here in Memphis, because what's happening around us also matters here too. Then you use those batteries and you dispatch them to the grid, and that helps you from saying to your industrial users, hey, instead of asking you to conserve, we can just dispatch these batteries. That is what's going on.
Okay, I appreciate the answer, lengthy as it was, but we need an explanation of that because it's just
glad
very
you
confusing.
know. Me
I'm so
too.
glad we had him here. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.